Determine the magnitude and coordinate direction angles of the resultant force acting at A. So at A, we have two forces, 600 going from A to C and 900 going from A to B. And so we're going to call that FB and FC. So we're going to add those together. First thing we need to do is break each one down into vectors so we can add the components. So we're going to do the standard, the position vector, and we'll start with B. So the position vector of B, and then we'll find the position magnitude of B, and we'll find the unit vector of B, and then we'll find the force vector B. There's the steps. And so the position vector from A to B goes in the x direction. Oh, it's this one. In the x direction, it goes like that. So that's 4.5 times the cosine of 45. So that's 45, so that's 45. And so that's going to be 4.5 and 0.707 in the I direction. And that's positive I, and the negative y, negative I, or j, it's going to be the same amount, 4.5, 0.707 in the j. And then in the k, it's going down 6, negative 6k. If we square root, okay, now this 4.5 times 0.707 is 3.18. So 3.18. So 3.18 squared plus 3.18 squared plus 6 squared, and that equals 7.5 for the magnitude. And so 3.18 divided by 7.5 is 0.424 in the I, minus 0.424 in the J, minus 0.8 in the K. And now we're going to multiply each of these by the magnitude, which is 900. 900. So 900 times 0.424 is 382 in the I, and 382 in the J, and 720 in the K. Now we're going to do the same thing for force vector C. So we're going to do position of C, magnitude of position of C, unit vector of C, and force vector of C. And in the x direction, the position vector is going a negative 3. And in the y direction, it's going a negative 6. And in the k direction, it's negative 6 again. And so the square root of 3 squared plus 6 squared plus 6 squared is 9. So we have negative 1/3 in the I, negative 2/3 in the J, and negative 2/3 in the K. And then multiplying each one of those by 600. 600 times 1/3 is negative 200 in the I, negative 400 in the J, and negative 400 in the K. So now the resultant is 382 minus 200 in the I, which is 182 in the I. Negative 382 minus 400 be minus 782 in the J, and minus 1120 in the K. So it wants the resultant, that's the magnitude, the resultant will be the square root of the squares and that is 1378. So that's the resultant. Now they want the the coordinate direction angles. So the coordinate direction angles are going to be the cosine of alpha equals the resultant x over the resultant, and the cosine of beta is equal to the resultant y over the resultant, and the cosine of gamma equals the resultant z over the resultant. So alpha equals the inverse cosine of 182 over 1378, and alpha equals 82 degrees. And beta equals the inverse cosine of negative 782 over 1378, and beta equals 124 degrees. Oops. And gamma equals the inverse cosine of negative 1120 over 1372, and so gamma is equal to 144.